Coming up on episode 184, Vikings become assassins, Taika Waititi directing Star Wars, Boba Fett coming to The Mandalorian, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. We are bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I am your host, Sean Hayes, and with me are my wonderful co-hosts, as always, Courtney Bolin and Josh York.
It is decidedly so, says my magic 8-ball.
So, thank you all for your patience with the sort of last-minute cancellation of last week's show. It was my wife was not feeling very well, and I had to take care of her because we're kind of reaching that point. So, plus it's a lot of stuff going on with her existing medications and everything. It kind of she's okay, but just some frustrating, complicated stuff involving stupid doctors. So, but we're back this week, and thankfully, kind of the big stuff didn't really change all that much, and it allowed us to kind of add in some really interesting things in here, like billions of triangles. Apparently, we now are able to fit.
That's all I got out of that whole
billions of triangles into our podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is we might as well go right into it. Epic showcased a tech demo for PS5 for Unreal Engine 5. Just showcasing what the engine can do.
Look at all these polygons. Look at all these triangles.
Yeah.
That was the takeaway.
I mean, and the sad part was, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I mean, that just looks like Monster Hunter. Like the background in that, like Monster Hunter World in some areas. Like,
yes. If I'm really, really paying attention, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely more detailed. But it's like when I'm playing a game, it's rare that I slow down to like look at detail.
Yeah, you're not.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. If like a game's really immersive.
Yeah.
Like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I took a lot of time just to like kind of walk around and look at stuff, and but most of the time, like when you're just playing,
and some of the stuff they were showcasing was kind of interesting, like how on the fly they could alter the geometry of the terrain and that would affect the lighting or whatever. But I mean, again, for the most part, my takeaway was great. Now, what are the developers that are going to fully take advantage of that? And I mean, for PlayStation, I mean, there's a lot more that would be able to take advantage of it than, say, for Microsoft and certainly for Nintendo.
I mean, I think Sony makes God of War. I think Sony just makes. I don't know.
Yeah,
whoever makes God of War.
But the question,
take advantage of it.
But again, the question is, would Sony be making God of War on Unreal Engine 5?
Oh yeah, I don't know what they use.
Yeah, because that's the thing is it's got to be a developer that uses Unreal Engine 5 in order to
you're right,
take care of that stuff. Which when I hear about it, mostly I hear about it as being a bit more friendly for like indie developers, just because of like because I think it's one of the. I can't remember if it's that or if it's what's the other?
It wasn't developed by Sony.
Right, but there's another engine as well that's really it might be Unity.
Frostbite.
Well, no, I'm thinking of the two ones that are like basically free and they.
Oh yeah, okay.
That are sort of indie friendly. But like, I don't know how many indie studios are going to be fully utilizing an engine to do the stuff that they were showing in the tech demo. But who knows? I know a lot of people were like, you know what? I actually want to play the game that this tech demo is about, because I think a lot of people were really getting like Prince of Persia vibes off of it and are hankering for a good Prince of Persia game.
I got here's why. I got Uncharted vibes because there was a lot of climbing.
Yeah.
And that is 30% of Uncharted games is climbing.
Yep.
It's not gameplay. You're just holding
or Fantasy Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was at first.
Which one could argue is basically
Magic Tomb Raider?
What?
Just at the very beginning of that tech demo, I thought it was Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Just because you saw the ponytail and it was just because of the lighting, it was kind of silhouetted.
Yep.
The magic ball.
Right.
Of light.
Right.
Yeah.
When it got to that point, I was like, oh, okay. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, it was interesting. It's,
Yoshi's Crafted World was on Unreal Engine.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of games are being made for the Switch are using.
Yeah, I'm just because I'm curious what games you use it. I'm just Gears of War. Kingdom Hearts 3 was on Unreal. But yeah.
Yeah.
So. There were a lot more not a lot of AAA things were on it.
Yeah.
But that was last year's list, and it might not have even been fully comprehensive.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
And, and even Epic's in-house stuff. I mean, Fortnite's not going to look like that.
It's not intended to.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not made to. What you see, Monty?
But what about Fortnite 2?
I think they already did that, though.
What's a word for 2 fortnights? Is there a word for 2 fortnights?
A month.
2 fortnights? Yeah, it's a month.
Is there a fancy Victorian word for a month?
No.
Okay, you need to get lunar cycle.
But no, a lunar cycle and a month are two different things.
Yeah, close enough in my book.
Let's see. It is 2 fortnights.
I don't know. Mary Poppins taught me that a month is 4 weeks and a couple of days. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, two fortnights is 28 days. So the word you're looking for is February.
Yeah, that's gonna be Fortnite 2. Is just gonna be February.
Fortnite 2 is it's Valentine's Day.
Mm.
That would be really funny if it launched on Valentine's Day. But I want to say that they already did Fortnite 2, and that's where the whole black hole thing was.
I mean, you could consider the whole the battle royale as Fortnite 2 because Fortnite was originally a
yes
survival.
It was
type game.
It was horde
mode. A horde, yeah.
It was just a horde defense mode game. Yeah.
The Chapter 2 Season 2 expansion is gonna be extended for Fortnite, but yeah.
I don't know.
I still agree, though.
Given the other,
I definitely feel like the BR
more like Fart Night. Got him.
I still kind of enjoy what Fortnite has been doing, because they've just been kind of going off the wall and doing all sorts of random stuff for.
They had a Travis Scott show. They had someone else.
Yeah. And actually, one of the things, so it was in the wake of the Mike Morhaime interview about Warcraft and social gaming and stuff, talking about how Fortnite is kind of filling that niche that Warcraft did for being a social platform.
Yes.
For kind of a new generation.
Yep.
100% and so that it's kind of become just more than what the game itself is.
Yeah.
And I think having all those weird modes and like party mode and everything kind of helps with that too.
I also think the fact that it's literally just like fun to watch. They have saturated the market with.
Oh yeah, Fortnite for me is a game that is much more fun to watch than it is to play.
I cannot watch it. It just doesn't do it for me.
Although,
but that's just my taste.
I also tend to watch people who don't do like any of the building whatsoever. So
it's obviously clearly popular to watch on Twitch because it's always up there.
Oh yeah. So, in other news, so we talked about what's coming to PlayStation. Why don't we talk about what's coming to Xbox?
Yeah.
Kind of a surprise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Is it a surprise? I don't know.
I mean, not necessarily that that Assassin's
games like
that Assassin's Creed is coming is not a surprise because it's kind of an annual announcement. But I was not expecting Vikings to be one of the options.
I figured we'd get there. They're kind of hitting all points in history in all different geographic areas at said times in history, so makes sense to me. I wonder when we'll get like have they done like an Asian one yet? Like
Asian they've kind of talked about it though.
Because that's got to be coming up at some point. They've done a lot of Western Civ covered in AC, not a lot of Eastern.
Yeah. And it's done really well too.
Yeah.
You
know? I would have figured that because like just when you think of sort of like archetypal stuff is assassins and Vikings don't seem really congruous, we'll say.
I mean, you could say the same with Odyssey, right? Like, I don't think assassin when I think Greek.
I suppose.
Like, I think Spartan warriors when I think Greek, or I think Alexander the Great, or like Athenians.
Conquerors, like, you think
the plumed helmets and the shield.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
And the pomp and circumstance and
Odyssey kind of was that.
Yeah.
I think in that one, here's what I'm actually curious about because I didn't play Odyssey. Just hearing about it, it kind of changed it to an RPG game with like a lot of
that's what I hear.
A lot of fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really, from what I understand, it really kind of focused in like the mythological aspects. Which I mean, when you think about it,
if they do that
though,
with Valhalla, I'll be definitely interested in like the Norse
awesome.
myth stuff.
It is heavily implied that that Odin is in the trailer, showing up on the battlefield and everything. So
yeah, why not?
Yeah. Which I mean, like, in theory, they could do that because Assassin's Creed, like, even in the game, it's all technically fake-ish.
It's a simulation, essentially.
Because it's all a simulation that you're like providing data for, or whatever.
No, it's it's a simulation of your ancestral memories.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yes, something.
So basically, here's what it is: you play as a person in the present time who's somehow a descendant of all these assassins, who has memories passed through their lineage.
Giver.
Huh?
It's like The Giver.
With the
things being passed down,
but it's biologically passed through.
Yes.
Their lineage.
Yeah, that somehow your genetic material
machine called the Animus or something.
Yeah.
And you go back and relive past lifetimes. Which it's a nifty idea to, as a vehicle to give you an excuse to do alternate history. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, and it also is a nice vehicle for having mythology.
It's also a video game.
Yes, but you know what I mean. It's a nice way to say, we're going to just include the mythology stuff too.
Right. Well, and they didn't really do that with the OG ones. That's more of a new thing, as far as I know.
No, they just made sure that they were mapping the cities consistently enough that a kid that gets lost on a field trip can find his way to whatever square it was that they needed to go to by back alleys.
Yeah, I think in like Odyssey, you can get like a Pegasus to ride, and like you go fight like the Minotaur and things like that, and that's nifty. I like that. That's more interesting to me and appealing than when I played AC2 back in the day, which was just so boring to me. But
I'm just excited. I'm interested because in watching the trailer, it seemed like there was yes, there was the Viking community, but also the English, and I'm not sure how much of that's gonna do crossover.
Hopefully it takes place when the Danes invade England.
That is exactly what's going to happen. Is what they have.
But I'm hoping that there's like play crossover.
They have mentioned this game is going to be smaller than Odyssey. Because I guess people complained about Odyssey being too big.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can be with that because open world games that are too big it's too much. I agree with that 100%.
So, and they mentioned what it's going to be is there's going to be like, it sounds like 1 or 2 parts in Scandinavia, and then like 4 parts in England. Yeah. So like you are going to go storm the shores of jolly old England, and basically like establish like you're gonna have all sorts of, like, it sounds, activities related to like fishing, hunting, crafting, setting up Viking villages and stuff.
I would assume you get a boat because that's a huge part of probably Norse culture is the boats.
Get to England.
I mean, in the trailer, you take boats, so yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if, like, because part of the whole Norse thing was like because they were built, they were able to travel up rivers and stuff way more easily than and like that's how they invaded England. It really was sneaking inland via river.
Yeah,
and
it used a combination of manpower and wind
literally
power.
Carry your boats.
Yeah,
on like your crew's shoulders to like get it over hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Hey, if you want to get primed for that, watch Vinland Saga. It's a great anime that's literally about the Vikings invading England. It's fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah. So yeah. Switch gears a bit. Switch gears off of gaming a bit. So Star Wars news. We got a bunch of Star Wars news last week.
Star Wars.
So, Taika Waititi set to direct the next film and co-writing with Kirsty Wilson-Cairns. Who she was a staff writer on Penny Dreadful in the 3rd season. But aside from that, not much else. So kind of like a fresh writer. Nice. That said, yeah, I mean, put him on a project. Please put him on.
I have one worry that I'm kind of getting sick of Taika Waititi humor, like that style of humor, you know, like Ragnarok, like that. Not that's bad. I just don't, and this is again a personal taste. Like I just don't want too much of that. I don't think he will. Honestly, I think he's talented enough that he can. Yeah, it'll be in there for sure because I think that's just his personality and part of his style.
Well, it's also I think that's also well suited for Star Wars
to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some episode. He must have done at least one episode of Mandalorian.
He did.
The finale, maybe.
He was in the finale.
He was because he's the
yeah. So yeah, he directed. Hang on,
I can't remember. He did one of them, at least one of them. I think I did. I think he did. But in the end, I'm glad they got him in. Actually, my favorite thing by him is Jojo Rabbit. By far that's my favorite film he's done. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look up which episode he did. Oh, these are writing credits, so it might not be a writing credit. It might be a directing credit.
Is Taika Waititi Australian or is he a Kiwi?
Kiwi. Yes. It was episode 8, Mandalorian Redemption.
Okay.
Which
is that episode 8? Not the finale?
Let me see. All episodes. Nope, there are 10 episodes.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically when I think it's when that general shows up at the very end.
The correct term is Moff. Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
Well, a Moff is more of a provincial governor.
Okay. I don't know. He uses a darksaber, so I mean, all bets are off.
Not a darksaber, the darksaber. There's only one.
Are we sure that there's only one?
I think in canon, yeah, there's only one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are we sure that's still
Mandalore used it.
All bets are off
Darth
until
Maul had it for a while.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the end of Clone Wars the last season?
No, we didn't.
Like 2 weeks ago. Go watch it. Just watch the last 4 episodes of this season. Yep. It is so good. Have you watched it, Sean?
I haven't. But I figured we were going to talk about it.
I'm just going to say, you don't even watch the whole season. Just the last 4 episodes is enough. It is fan-friggin-tastic.
Yeah.
So good.
And apparently has a nice tie-in with Rogue One. So, yeah. And then finally, speaking of Mandalorian,
the big news.
So Temuera Morrison?
I don't know.
Temuera Morrison?
Yeah.
Cast as Boba Fett. So this was like, it's not really a leak or anything because it was just somebody looking at a casting sheet and noticed that. So in some capacity we're gonna get Boba Fett. But so for those that aren't in the know, Morrison is the actor who played Jango Fett in the prequels, and is the basis for like the clone armies.
And Boba Fett was another clone that Jango kept as a son.
Yep.
And also, Boba Fett and Jango Fett are fake Mandalorians. They aren't actual Mandalorians.
Oh.
Yeah. At least that's what I was reading in some like lore thing a few weeks back. I don't know if that'll be like a thing. That'd be an interesting take on the show to have like, I don't know.
That the stereotypical Mandalorian isn't actually Mandalorian.
That's almost a bit too convoluted. I don't know that I like that, but
yeah.
A lot of people were thinking Boba Fett would be in it, just because at the end of one of the episodes.
Yep.
Without spoiling too much, like there's an end credit scene kind of, or just end of the episode scene where you see like just these spurred boots walking up to a body, and it only shows like up to the knees. And but everyone was like, who the heck is it?
It's very heavily implied to be his armor.
Right. Yeah. Well, a lot of people were like, oh, maybe it's just Moff Gideon, and we just because we can get a good look, but they're like, well, he doesn't make like the spur sound when he walks, and
yeah.
Courtney,
you have a very confused look on your
perplexed.
face.
No, he fell into the pit.
Yeah, it is
in the books that are not canon anymore. He blasts his way out of the Sarlacc and survives.
He shoots his way out, much like how Godzilla goes flying across. He just like blasts himself to the point that he flies out backwards.
But yeah, in the old books, Boba Fett survives the Sarlacc pit.
Because I'm over here, I'm on Wikipedia, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not like thinking things. I'm not imagining things. He fell into that pit. He died, right?
No, he did, but it is basically a hope that Star Wars fan peeps have been holding on to, that Disney will go back to that story beat and bring it back, and that Boba Fett survives.
Well, Dave Filoni's involved pretty heavily in this, and he's the guy who did Clone Wars and Rebels and all that, and he's got a heavy hand with Favreau and Mandalorian, and he is pretty good at going back and taking a lot of the old stuff from the old. It's not the Legends canon.
Non-canon.
Yeah, they call it Legends now.
Yeah.
But taking a lot of that stuff and bringing it back into the actual canon.
Okay. I mean, because I could totally see that, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going completely nutty.
Yeah, like he brought back Grand Admiral
totally
Thrawn. He brought him back into the canon. He's made references to like Darth Revan and stuff.
I mean, Courtney,
and made it canon.
I'm pretty sure these were the guys that brought back Darth Maul, right?
Yeah, he came back in Clone Wars, correct?
Yeah, he got cut in half, Courtney, and they brought him back with like
true.
I think
with robot legs.
Robot legs, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, glad they did, because Maul has a fantastic arc.
Oh yeah,
Clone Wars and Rebels.
And he's just
why he was in Clone Wars. I really was really confused for a long time, and I'm like, no, it can't be Maul. It can't be Maul.
Oh, it is.
Absolutely.
And his voice actor is amazing.
Yeah.
Sam Witwer is really, really good as Maul.
Yeah, it's really he should have been. Sorry.
Little tidbit. In the second to last episode of the Clone Wars season, Ray Park, who played Maul in the prequels, did all the motion capture for a Maul lightsaber fight in the second to last episode. And it was like a really cool kind of nod.
Yeah.
To like see Ray Park's like definite style in the choreography in that, because him and Ahsoka have a big epic lightsaber battle.
Yes.
And it's really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, they really underutilized Maul in the prequels. They had a big problem of just like...
Well, here's the thing. You reveal this really cool, badass-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like, this new Sith, and he's got a double lightsaber? Like, as a kid, you're like, what? And then he just eats it.
Yeah.
Eats it.
Yeah, it's the prequels had sort of pre-MCU superhero movie problem, where they introduced these interesting, cool villains for like basically 10 minutes, and then they die, and then plot resolve, movie's over.
It's like you're gonna replace him with, like, don't get me wrong, I love Christopher Lee, but Dooku was kind of boring.
No, and like, Dooku was boring. I was gonna say, Grievous though. Grievous made up for it. Yeah, but he had 4 lightsabers, and he was a robot.
That one always made my head hurt.
I mean, I think Grievous was a cool idea. For sure.
Absolutely.
But like, also didn't get, well, in Clone Wars he gets expanded on too, so you get more development of Grievous in Clone Wars.
Is Clone Wars considered canon?
Yep.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
What platform is Clone Wars on? Disney Plus, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just got in. Yeah, I'll talk about it during Questlog, what I've been actually doing. But I have a list.
So we're gonna get Boba Fett and potentially Ahsoka. Why do I say with an SH? It's Ahsoka. Ahsoka.
Yeah.
In season 2 Mandalorian.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep saying Ahsoka's my favorite character by far. Her and Maul. And it's pretty much because of Clone Wars and Rebels. They just do such a good job on those two characters throughout those series. It's great.
Oh, nice.
And especially in Ahsoka's case, how to turn like a universally reviled character in season 1 to universally beloved character by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then to head back into gaming news. So I think Josh, you added these.
Oh yeah, let's start with
news bits.
First, we'll save my favorite one for the end.
Okay.
First, I'll say I was just reading that there's been some rumors about Blizzard remastering Diablo 2. Have you heard about any of this, Sean?
I heard a little bit about it. I'm surprised that they haven't done it already.
Right.
Right?
Because that's what everybody whines about. I miss Diablo 2. It was my favorite. Like, that's what everybody whines about. Whatever. I get it. It was a good game. I didn't play that much of it. My younger brother probably played way more of it than I did. It's fine.
I wish they remastered it, because I still have my original install discs and it does not work very well on modern machines.
Yeah, modern OSs don't like old games.
So like I'm not gonna whine about it, but like, yeah, I mean, if they updated it so that it would just run on a machine, sure, I'd jump back in and play some.
I'd probably even give it a shot too, but it's just whatever. I feel like you played one Diablo, you played every Diablo. That's just I get it. There's differences in systems and some mechanics and some whatever, but in the end, they're all essentially the same gameplay feedback loop. It's the same thing. So yeah, I think it was because maybe they registered something business wise, and that was where the rumors came from. I think that's what it was.
Maybe.
But so that's just floating out there. We'll see if that happens. What else did I put? I put one. Oh, another just an interesting one for Mortal Kombat 11. RoboCop's going to be a character in Mortal Kombat 11. Why? I wonder,
is RoboCop like a DC property?
I don't know.
Wait,
I have no idea. I mean, they put Terminator in Mortal Kombat. They've put Spawn. They put a lot of kind of just different characters in it, which I think that fits that game perfectly.
Oh, that's what RoboCop is. Technically Marvel?
Disney?
So that's a little weird. That's a little odd.
Okay.
At least Marvel Comics makes RoboCop comics.
Interesting.
But yeah. I guess I should say, is RoboCop Warner Brothers?
Yeah, I don't even know who published those movies.
Let's see. It is Orion Pictures.
I'm pretty sure the guy who directed RoboCop directed Starship Troopers, the greatest movie of all time.
I'm doing my part.
Paul Verhoeven. Right.
Paul Verhoeven, yep.
Yes.
And I'm actually not kidding. I really do love Starship Troopers. It's the best satirical movie of all time.
Yeah.
Also Total Recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven's known for kind of doing some wacky stuff. Which is good.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I'll put it. Wacky stuff.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
he got a Saturn Award for Best Director for RoboCop and Golden Raspberries for Worst Picture and Worst Director for Showgirls.
That's right. He also did Showgirls.
Yeah, that's just odd. So, but yeah, RoboCop in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an odd thing.
I mean, he's already been 11. I don't play it much, but
he's already been like brutally
it's a fun game.
Disfigured, right? So that works for
exactly.
Mortal Kombat.
I think RoboCop fits right into that. Whatever shtick that is Mortal Kombat.
I mean, there's basically a whole series of characters in Mortal Kombat that are like kind of influenced by RoboCop anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I think they're also adding friendships and stuff too in an update.
Oh, I like friendship fatalities.
Yeah, friendships and stuff like that. So
that's all. Courtney's making a face. So for the audience that doesn't know what friendship fatalities are,
I just assume people know. Yeah.
No, I don't play those types of games.
That was introduced in Mortal Kombat 3. Friendship fatalities are instead of killing your opponent, you just do something friendly with them, and then the match ends. So like Sub-Zero's was like he turns into a snowman and gives out ice cream cones. Yeah. So that's what happens there.
Yeah, so it's that type of thing for friendships.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's coming in the update too. And I think there were some more story mode stuff being added on, but whatever. So yeah, I just thought I saw the RoboCop thing. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a nifty little addition. Thought it was noteworthy. And then the big news getting announced yesterday or 2 days ago. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 getting a remake, baby. Oh my god.
What platforms is this coming out on?
All except Switch, I believe.
What?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, come on.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and they're skipping Switch.
Unlucky.
According to Nintendo Life. Oh, PS4, Xbox One, and it will be on PC via the Epic Game Store.
Of course, it will be the Epic Game Store.
Of course.
I didn't see that. I'll get it for PS4 then.
Yeah. It'd be nice if it was released on Switch. But
I mean, both these games, particularly Tony Hawk 2, was a big part of my teens, for sure. Probably like my freshman, sophomore years of high school. Played a lot of Tony Hawk 2. I actually played it on PC when I was playing it back in the day. And greatest game soundtrack of all time on Tony Hawk 2. A lot of punk rock, a lot of indie hip hop. It's great.
Yep.
I've been actually listening to that soundtrack a lot, just because it's so good lately, and reminding myself of all the tunes I used to love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not realistic skateboarding. It's arcade, ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
skateboarding. It's not like there's a bunch of games coming out, like Skate Exile and Session, which are more realistic and like required to use your analogs and like the similar motions that your feet would have to on a skateboard to do the tricks.
Yeah.
So it's like actually difficult. So I don't want that. I just want to hit the buttons and do cool things. And listen to Rage Against the Machine while I'm going around the schoolyard. For
Switch and Steam fans who want to get skateboarding action in and don't want to, want to get Tony Hawk like skateboarding action in, but obviously can't get it. Skatebird, which we saw at E3 last year, where it's like Tony Hawk, but it's like parakeets on a skateboard.
It's herbs.
Yep. So
yeah, I think those two games will come together. They come together as a bundle.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep. And I think they said September 4th is cool right now what the release date looks for. So
cool.
That'll be a pickup for me for sure.
I'm sure we'll also have a whole new slew of people mistaking Tony Hawk for somebody else now. That's like a meme on Twitter, as he shares like all these times when like people look at him and like, you kind of look like Tony Hawk.
Like he goes through airport security and they're like, Anthony Hawk, like Tony Hawk, the skateboarder. Man, I wonder what he's up to these days.
Yes,
Tony Hawk's all right, but Rodney Mullen is kind of where it's at. The godfather of modern skateboarding, Rodney Mullen.
I don't know.
It's amazing. He's got like an honorary fellowship at MIT. He's like actually just super smart dude.
Nice.
Check him out, Rodney Mullen. There's a lot of videos of him on YouTube. He's interesting dude.
Nice. And that is going to wrap up the news for this week. So why don't we get into what's going on with 8-Bit Adventures? All right, so change things up this week. There is a change up in the stream schedule. So Thursdays from now on are always going to be 8-Bit Adventures Plays. This is because there is now a Saturday morning art stream. So 8-Bit Adventures Draws is going to be moving to Saturday mornings at 9? I believe it's 9. But I will confirm that. But I'm pretty sure it's set for 9 a.m. It's going to be like a 1-hour stream. It's just going to be standard 8-Bit Adventures Draws. I'm just going to look it up to see if I can find when I said that stream was going to take place.
Between 8:30 and 9.
Well, but I actually posted the stream schedule.
Oh.
9. Yes. So 9 to 10. I'll work on artwork. The idea is to, number one, not very many people will be streaming at 9 a.m., I'm sure. So a little bit of reduced competition for a time slot. And kind of give that feeling of like Saturday morning cartoons. So, yeah. And as always, trying to make an effort for, like, especially the art streams to be a little bit more family friendly. So if you got kids, tune in. And then, as always, later that evening, we'll continue doing sort of the late night 8-Bit Adventures plays. Again, playing Baldur's Gate. I'm going to... we're going to get through it. I may just do a bunch of grinding off stream because apparently that's what that game needs. Because, yeah. The alternative, of course, is that if people get bored with Baldur's Gate, I can always switch it up to something else. Until Xenoblade arrives on the 29th. And then it's just all over. It's just Rhine time.
I was going to say, it's just Rhine time.
It's just Rhine time. So
I'm still on the fence about that dumb game. I don't know. We'll see.
I can't wait. I have playlists that are just, it's all Xenoblade music. And by all Xenoblade music, I mean there's like 37 remixes of Gower Plains. Because everybody's like, and with that game, everybody seems to think that You Will Remember Our Names is the best track of that game. And those people are wrong. It is Gower Plains is the best track of that soundtrack.
If I could kick Riki off a cliff, I'd play that game.
I mean, you can. There's generally no fall damage, so
yeah,
maybe for the stream I'll do a meme run and I'll have shirtless Dunban as my evasion tank.
Yeah, sure.
Where you give him no armor and then he gets powered up. Yeah. So it's basically gonna be until further notice Baldur's Gate, or until the 29th. But as I remember that you can spend a whole bunch of gold in the Twitch chat to instead force me to go bring Megan in and we play Overcooked. Because that's always fun. So
still probably only gonna spend my gold on summoning Monty.
Or character impressions. Those are fun. So
just make sure you set a timer.
Yeah. And then as far as comics go, there was a new comic last week. I did not post a public one this past week, just because we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend and I was exhausted. However, I did post, I did get some more colored, some more Chapter 1 comics and put those up for patrons. So I was doing, my goal is to do one a day here in these quarantine times. And that if I can do that, I can basically have all the comics for book 1 finished in 2 months. Because I still have like 70 comics to go. So, but yeah. And then looking into sort of book printing solutions that will integrate with the shop. So, because right now the place I'm looking at doesn't really integrate with the store. They only integrate with Shopify, which is not the platform that we use for the 8-Bit Adventure shop. Which, by the way, we're going to put a link in the chat there. So yeah. Comics will resume next week, as well as Speedy and Monty comics will resume this week. So be on the lookout for those. And with that, now it's time for Quest Log. Quest log is where we talk about what sort of interesting geeky activities that we've been filling up in our quest journals, our dailies, if you will, our world quests, where we grind reputation into money.
Huh.
Courtney,
Yeah.
since you had mentioned something that you wanted to talk about for Questlog, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of Stardew, but one of my friends suggested that I watch this show called Banshee, a
Okay.
cop procedural show, and it's on Amazon Prime. It goes away on it leaves Prime on May 21st. So I have challenged myself to binge it all. It's 43 episodes long. I think I have enough time. Um, but I binged 3 episodes early this morning, I guess you'd call it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but so basic premise of the show is guy gets out of jail and then becomes the sheriff in a small town in Pennsylvania. Um, there's a large Pennsylvania Dutch Amish community um, that works alongside the English community, and it's kind of wonderful little corrupt town, and I'm liking it so far. Um, so yeah, I will. I have challenged myself to binge this until it's gone.
Okay.
Um, so I have 40 episodes to go and 7 days. I can do this no problem.
And how long is each episode?
About an hour.
So you've got 40 hours.
You have a full work week.
Yeah, a full work week of binging.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
So Courtney,
I mean, I put that
how
much
does-
into gaming a week, so I mean that's doable.
Yeah.
How does so Banshee is a decidedly not Dutch or American or I would argue like even English word or concept. How does that factor into the show?
Oh, it's the language. They speak Pennsylvania Dutch. The Amish community there.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess what I mean is the show's title.
You're saying the
Oh,
word Banshee
is,
doesn't derive from either Dutch or English.
Oh, yeah. Banshee is the name of the town.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Yep, it is Banshee, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
What is it, like Celtic?
Don't know.
No.
But yeah, no, I have no idea why it's called that. I'm only 3 episodes in. But
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say
yeah.
it sounds like there might be a lot of death coming in the show.
It's a very corrupt town. That you find out off the bat. It's a very, very corrupt town.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's an interesting take.
Okay.
So I am actually really excited to keep watching this show.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and I finally got the golden clock in Stardew, got my 10 million.
Game over. You can stop playing it now. Nice.
No.
It's all been done. It's over.
Now, Courtney, now that you have no goals, you can upgrade to Animal Crossing. She won't do it.
I won't.
All right.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to.
Okay.
A lot of life changes in general, so I haven't really gotten much done this past week. But yeah, so that's me. What about you, Josh? What have you been up to?
Banshee is a mythological creature from Irish folklore. So I don't know. I don't know. I just looked it up. So because I was curious where the word came from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Hollow Knight. That's what I've been playing for the last week and a half-ish.
Squashing bugs.
Yeah, just a lot of bug on bug violence, indiscriminately murdering these adorable creatures with my sword nail.
Yeah.
So Hollow Knight is a 2D side-scrolling platformer in the Metroidvania style. So, meaning there's a lot of backtracking and unlocking power-ups that allow you to go to areas you couldn't reach before. So, like, you'll get a double jump, and now you can go back to this area you went earlier and get to a different part of it, or whatever. You can jump off walls, and you can whatever, or you can dash across big gaps. But it is also kind of a Souls-like in that boss battles are fairly difficult and require, not all of them. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it now, but early on required a lot of practice. And even now, as I'm getting into like the end game stuff, requires like a lot of focus and practice and really knowing the boss's patterns or what moves they use to be able to dodge and not take damage. The premise is you're a little bug that wears a cute little white mask, and you have a little white nail that's your sword, and you have a little cape, and that's your character. Basically, that's like everything your character has, and you go into this underground little bug colony that was a kingdom. So it's like a fantasy bug's life, if you will, grim dark fantasy bug's life. And you go through, and there's not a lot of explicit storytelling in this game. Again, very Souls-like in that you get bits and pieces of the lore, and like there used to be this bug kingdom, and then like it's all in ruin now, and you're trying to like what the heck happened to it, and you get bits and pieces here, and you kind of got to put it all together yourself.
It reminds me of a lot of the lore that you would get in like Metroid Prime. And how the lore would be like, it's there, but like it's not told in like cutscenes and stuff like that. It's told in like like you would have to, Metroid Prime, you'd have to scan things, and it would be in like data logs and stuff like that. Whereas in this one, it's like having little conversations with things.
Yeah, you might run into an NPC or something that just says, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and you're like, "Oh," and then you'll talk to somebody else, and they'll say something, and you'll kind of connect it, or you'll find an item, and it'll have like a flavor text or description, and you're like, oh, that kind of adds to it. Or you'll find some ruin in here, and it'll have some words on it, and like that's how you kind of piece the story together. And even then, I've essentially beat the game more or less at this point, and I still don't fully know. I'm gonna have to watch some lore videos after. But it's and here's from a guy who doesn't generally like platformers very much. This is one of the best games I've played in quite a while. It is really, really, really good. Just gameplay feels really good. The controls are pretty tight, and like it's responsive, and the game feels really good. Like slashing enemies feels good. Like there's enough screen shake and like enough feedback via audio and like on screen wise that everything feels really good. And the art is just really fantastic as well. It makes it stand out. I describe it as minimalist, but I guess I mean that more in color usage than actual detail in the game, because there's quite a bit of detail in like the background and all the hand-drawn stuff. And it's all hand-drawn stuff too, by the way. It's really nice. But they're able to do so much with so little use of color that when they do add color, it really pops, and it makes it I was describing this to somebody the other day. Like when you go into those green areas from like, it's a lot of gray and black. A lot of gray and black in this game. But when you go in areas that do have color, like even just a little bit of green or like some purples and stuff, or pinks, it really stands out and like it looks amazing. And like this is another game that doesn't do like crazy ornate character design. Like all the character design is pretty simple, and they all look very similar, but they all have their own personality in their design. All the bugs have like a white mask and then whatever else goes on it, but some are big, some are small, some have a different kind of style mask, and and they all kind of have quirky dialogue and personality, and it just really comes through. There's obviously a lot of passion put into this game by the dev team. It's amazing. I am sad I missed it when it came out in 2017, but really glad I picked it up now. And at this point, there's 112% for full completion.
Yep.
Because they added DLC on to get it above that 100%. And I'm at like 109 right now, so I only have a few more things to do to get technically full completion of the game. So that's what I'm working on. And there's going to be a sequel to this called Silk Song.
Yes.
And you play as one of the bosses you fight in the game called a Hornet, which is like this other bug, and they have like a needle. They're kind of like a dragoon. The way they fight, which I'm really hyped to play as that character. That'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really glad I've was recommended to play this series and gotten into it, because it's normally not the type of game I would play, but super surprised at how amazing it is. And I picked up for like $7 on sale.
Oh wow!
Like a week ago. That's part of why I got it. It was on sale on Steam for like 50% off. I was like, yeah, why not?
Nice.
There are multiple endings, depending on what
That's
stuff
why I'm
you
doing,
get. And
I'm doing full completion, so I get the good ending.
Yeah. Even then, I think like it also comes down to like you can unlock several of like the good endings, and then it's still based on like what choices you make. At the very end, I think.
Because it's not really any choice making.
Yeah. We'll have
there
to talk.
Is, but not a lot.
Kind of, yeah. It's
But I couldn't recommend this game enough.
Yeah.
I will say about like the difficulty level, it rarely feels unfair or like BS.
Yeah.
Nice. Not like old NES games that are just full of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not Ninja Gaiden
or Battletoads,
Ghosts and Goblins, or like those old really tough games that were essentially arcade games designed to eat your quarters.
Yeah.
This is difficult, but there were a couple times where I was like, this is BS. But 95% of the time, I'm like, oh, I just need to get good.
Yeah.
And like
it's a very technical
a lot of that.
Platformer.
Right. It's like I just need to play better. Even if and on the platforming or bosses or anything, or you're just exploring. When I made a mistake, it was usually like, oh, that was my mistake. That wasn't the game. So, which is nice. I'm down with that type of difficulty. And it wasn't so like you have to be perfect to complete it. Even somebody not as good at video games as like me is able to get a lot of it done. So
yeah.
Fantastic game. I would highly recommend it. A lot of atmosphere, a lot of personality, and a lot of passion was clearly put into this game. So I think it's like $15 regular. It's worth it for that, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But definitely if you see it on sale, pick it up.
Yeah. I have been playing Animal Crossing as usual.
Yeah.
It's basically sort of my go-to like wake up game during this time. So like I'll wake up
if you have to go back to work.
And around like 8 o'clock, I'll boot up Animal Crossing, check turnip prices, do a couple little things before work, and then on my lunch break, then boot it up again. Check turnip prices for the afternoon, take care of any requests or whatever.
That's like my
change through the day.
Yes, yeah, they changed once a day.
My morning routine when I wake up is I'll make my cup of coffee. There's a couple streamers I watch in the morning, and I'll set up my Chromebook right here, and I'll play my mobile game kind of passively.
Yeah.
Every morning, just to do the daily stuff. Like, that's my quarantine routine in the morning.
Let's see. I am still searching for a bunch of furniture, but I have now completed basically all of the fish and bugs for this month.
Oh, you got all of the last
I have caught the elusive mahi. So now, basically now I'm just stockpiling all sorts of bait because next month, oh my goodness, there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fish that appear as new arrivals, including all of the sharks start appearing in the ocean. So I'm going to be saving up all my bait for that, so that way I can just like go through and bull rush it on the 1st of June. But yeah. And then just kind of sprucing up the island some. Looking to replace a bunch of stuff with hedges. Setting up, I now have a little podcasting area / game room in the basement. So I put my magic circle rug down there for our magical summoning. Underneath, of course, a table for playing Dungeons and Dragons. Sadly, so I have a whiteboard set up, but unfortunately I can't change the look of the whiteboard, which I thought would have been fun. So it just got like, it almost looks like a little bit like the meme from It's Always Sunny. It kind of looks like that. It's really weird.
With the lines. And
yes,
with
it
the
kind of looks like that
pins.
a little bit, but it's a whiteboard. And then the makings of like a Link cosplay outfit next to it, because you can get like little Link boots, and stuff. So setting up little areas like that, trying to get better furniture to put in the kitchen so that I can make an actual kitchen. Fun fact, in Animal Crossing, refrigerators count as wardrobes. So that you open up the refrigerator, it says, I wonder what I'll change into today. So, yeah.
Does that mean that you can put a shirt in the fridge?
Yes. Well, no.
Okay.
So it's you don't store stuff in there. It's you open it up and it says like
on a nice cold shirt.
It's you open it up and it opens up the outfit sort of menu, so you can adjust your outfit. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun little bug. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
It's not a bug. It's just it basically counts it as a closet. Like wardrobe / closet. So yeah. Like there's no food to store really.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was watching a stream the other day, and there was this really, really outlandish and awesome idea of, so you take hats and you make them sort of the almost like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's almost like a wide brimmed hat, but it's got just a cylindrical top. It's not like a rounded like cap or something like that. So it's almost like a straw hat or something. And because it's got a cylindrical top and everything, they're taking these hats and they're making the brim like a plate, and then making the top part like cakes and pies and stacks of pancakes, and then displaying that to make like a faux bakery.
I like that.
And I thought that was amazing. So, that just boils down to creating a pattern that looks like a cake or a pie or whatever that's sitting on top of a plate. So the kind of stuff that people are doing is pretty mind-boggling right now. Pixel artists are far and above making some really cool stuff in Animal Crossing. The other game that I've been playing is continuing to play Path of Exile. So I've been getting pretty high up there with my Tornado Shot Ranger character. Had to rebuild her passive build a bit because turns out there's a different build for DPS than there is for survival. And it's recommended that if you've never hit level 100 before, to go the survival route so that you survive. Because I don't know if I've explained this before about Path of Exile, when you die, you lose experience points. So the idea is to try and grind out enough experience to hit level 100 and die as few times as possible. But I have also decided to make an alt character, made a Necromancer. Necromancer is a lot of fun. I have no attacks on that character because all I do is run around and spam minions everywhere, and they just handle everything for me. So I literally have no attack spells, and I also reassigned the left mouse button to just be like move only, so that way I'm not accidentally like running into things and attacking them by like hitting them with a scepter when, I'm a caster. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to just run around with this giant posse of like a golem, a bunch of zombies, a bunch of skeletons, some specters, and they all just kind of fan out and take care of problems and then come back, and it's great. So, also funny enough, it's a build that, so Path of Exile works with 3 stats. You have strength, you have dexterity, and you have intelligence. And the idea is strength is built around sort of melee damage and health. Dexterity is built around I think it's like hit and crit chance and evasion. And intelligence is based on mana and magical damage and spell damage. This build is for a caster that goes full strength. So the actual character class starts out as Witch. So this tiny, very, very thin, frail girl. Almost like Courtney's D&D character. Or like very, very, very petite. Only to have like through the build just like stack strength so that, she could like out damage some barbarians. Because that's just,
Nice.
There's specific items that let you then transfer like your strength to your minions. So then it becomes like you try and stack as much strength as possible, and then your minions just like it's essentially playing Path of Exile like you're playing kind of Heroes of the Storm circa like 3-4 years ago, where Death Ball was the primary strategy, and you just take a posse and you just run over things. And yeah. So that's been fun to just kind of turn my brain off and just run around maps and let problems take care of themselves. But yeah, I have finished the story for the Ranger. And so just doing endgame content, which is just running maps. And doing all sorts of that interesting stuff. So yeah. Getting ready for Xenoblade, because I can't wait. I really can't wait.
So you guys are getting ready for, you're getting ready for Xenoblade. I'm getting ready for BioShock.
Yeah, I just wish Xenoblade would be here so that I could play that instead of Baldur's Gate. That's it. I mean, I also have like I could switch over to Dragon's Dogma and play that instead, but I feel
That's a great game.
I feel like I've already invested this much into Baldur's Gate 1, and like I need to at least try and finish it. And I feel like
if they made Fight or Warrior better in Dragon's Dogma, I would go back and play it again.
Yeah. So that might be kind of like an in-between if there's a lull period, is go and play that game. And then I've also been leveling up my Void Elf Monk in World of Warcraft, trying to get her to 120 and unlock that legacy armor before the level squish. So, yeah, because they still have the double experience point boost. So, yeah. Making good progress on that. Already in, so I think I gained like, let's see, I was at level 93, I think, over the weekend, and now I'm at like 105. So, yeah. Things go pretty quickly in Legion, and in Warlords of Draenor with those like bonus areas with the objectives. Especially when you have just a perma 100% XP buff.
All the expansion leveling is pretty quick.
So, switch back from Windwalker to Brewmaster. So, that's what I don't take out enemies as quickly, but it's fun to just like have a bunch of abilities, and it's got like a pretty tight rotation. So it keeps me engaged so that it's not just like, yeah, I push a button and then I push it again and then I push it again. So, and then of course being a tanking spec is a little more interesting to me than just a straight DPS spec.
I don't know how much group content you do, but always in demand.
None. No groups. Mostly because my guild decided to go back and play Classic, it seems.
I mean, there's LFG if you want to do dungeons or whatnot.
I suppose, but meh. It's like I kind of already did the Legion dungeon thing. And I'm not really a big fan of the dungeons in Legion.
I don't even remember them.
So yeah. But yeah, it's nice to go back and play that a little bit, work on those characters. So, and that, folks, is going to wrap things up for this week. So thank you for joining us for the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. If you would like to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out 8-bitadventures.com. If you'd like to help support that content, you can either become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures, and for as little as $1 a month, get exclusive access to patrons only comics, early access to the 8-Bit Adventures comic, and a discount for merch in the store. You can also become a subscriber here on Twitch. Doing so will put us closer to getting more emotes on this channel, and I keep forgetting, subs also earn gold at double the rate. So that's for those of you who like to be big spenders. That allows you to do that. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, remember that you have one free Twitch Prime sub each month. So certainly welcome to do that here. That would be appreciated. But if you don't want to do it here, you can also support Josh's Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/damnanimal.
Yeah, it's me. I do Twitch.
Caught him off guard.
Yeah.
And then our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, as always, have fun, everyone. Happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.
Everybody.